The US Postal Service has a thick rulebook for a reason, and these 30 people basically tried to set that rulebook on fire. We're about to show you the most absurd, shocking, and sometimes hazardous packages that were caught and rejected, proving that common sense isn't always included with the price of postage. 1. Some genius decided a fully cooked Thanksgiving turkey was the perfect surprise to mail in July. It arrived at the sorting center radiating a scent of pure decay, with juices soaking through the cardboard. Workers described it as a biohazardous meat disaster, confirming that some ideas are best left in the drafts. 2. In a moment of misplaced tropical whimsy, someone tried to mail a coconut by simply writing the address on the shell. The post office, however, has strict rules against shipping potential high-speed, unsecured tropical missiles down their conveyor belts. It was promptly rejected before it could take out a sorting machine. 3. Proving that some people have no secrets, a package arrived in a completely transparent case, putting its contents on full display for everyone. The Postal Service, not in the business of running a traveling exhibition, refused it. They politely insisted that mail should have at least a shred of mystery, if not dignity. 4. Someone tried to ship a box of live crickets as a hilarious prank. The flimsy box broke open in the back of a delivery truck, unleashing an biblical plague of chirping insects. The driver had to pull over, and the post office spent the next week dealing with an infestation on wheels. The package was rejected on the grounds of creating a mobile, auditory nightmare. 5. Someone committed an act of pure evil by mailing a box of loose glitter. When it burst, it unleashed a shimmering plague that contaminated the entire sorting facility. It was the craft store equivalent of a chemical spill, earning the sender a permanent ban on shipping any future glitter-related catastrophes. 6. A man insisted on mailing a taxidermied bat, claiming it was for scientific research. The postal workers, whose job descriptions do not include handling Dracula's potential pets, disagreed. The historical artifact was rejected, as they preferred to keep their potential rabies exposure to a minimum. 7. An experiment to test the resilience of Jell-O in transit ended exactly as you'd expect. A box labeled "extremely fragile" arrived oozing a sticky, wobbly substance over everyone else's mail. The Jell-O did not survive, and its sugary, gelatinous ghost haunted the facility's cleaning crew for days. 8. Imagine you're a postal worker, and you see a life-sized, eerily realistic doll rolling down the conveyor belt with a shipping label on its shirt. After a collective spike in blood pressure, the package was rejected, mostly to prevent mass heart attacks among the staff. Some things just need a box, and maybe an exorcism. 9. A hopeful bowler attempted to mail a 16-pound bowling ball using a standard cardboard box meant for shoes. It didn't even make it to the truck. The moment a worker lifted it, the bottom of the box disintegrated, sending the ball crashing to the floor with a thunderous boom. It was rejected on the grounds that packages shouldn't double as demolition equipment. 10. What appeared to be a mummified sphere of pure stubbornness was, in fact, a package made entirely of duct tape. After a half-hour battle with box cutters, workers finally got it open. Inside the impenetrable fortress was the grand prize, a single, solitary paperclip. Some people just want to watch the world waste its time. 11. In a gesture that was probably meant to be sweet, someone mailed a bouquet of dandelions in an unsealed box. By arrival, it had transformed into a biological dispersal unit, seeding the entire sorting center for a future of endless weeding. The facility's ventilation system was coughing up fluff for a week. 12. A package arrived bearing no address, only a beautifully hand-drawn treasure map. Apparently, the sender believed the Postal Service would embark on a swashbuckling adventure to find the recipient. Sorry, pal, the USPS isn't staffed by Indiana Jones, and the package was rejected for not meeting their X marks the spot delivery protocol. 13. Just when you think you've seen it all, a single pair of underwear appears on the sorting line with a shipping label slapped on the waistband. It was rejected for reasons of hygiene, public decency, and the general preservation of employee morale. Some questions about humanity are better left unanswered. 14. The call came in. A suspicious red liquid was leaking from a package, creating a scene straight out of a mob movie. Workers braced for the worst as they cautiously opened the dripping box, only to discover the victim was a poorly sealed bottle of ketchup. The only crime committed was a profound lack of common sense. 15. Someone's noble experiment in minimalist shipping involved writing an address directly on a banana peel. It actually made it partway through the system before being rejected, not for being a banana, but because it had begun to rot. It proves there's a fine line between innovative genius and just mailing someone your garbage. 16. A sorting facility was plunged into a low-budget horror film when a package began emitting a strangled, rhythmic squeak with every bump. Workers, picturing some kind of trapped creature, finally cornered the offending box. Inside, a single rubber chicken, apparently on a mission to psychologically torment federal employees one squeak at a time. 17. Proving that Florida man has a mailing address, a 6-foot taxidermy alligator in a loud Hawaiian shirt showed up without a box. It wasn't just the lack of packaging, it was the sheer audacity of expecting someone to load a grinning, life-sized reptile onto a conveyor belt. It was rejected before it could start its unliving vacation. 18. In an attempt to get a free drink, a person mailed a single empty beer bottle back to the brewery with a note demanding a refund for its terrible taste. The brewery's return address was correct, but the post office rejected the package, explaining that they are a mail service, not a disgruntled customer's complaint department. 19. A package arrived leaking a thick, viscous, and alarmingly sticky fluid. Fearing a chemical leak, workers carefully opened it, only to find a 5-gallon bucket of honey with a loose lid. The sender had tried to ship it without declaring it, creating the sweetest and most infuriating hazardous spill in the facility's history. 20. In a bold defiance of physics, someone mailed a full-length mirror with absolutely no padding. When questioned, the sender's defense was, "I thought the glass was strong enough." Spoiler, it wasn't. It arrived as a box of razor-sharp glitter, leaving postal workers to clean up 7 years of bad luck and a whole lot of poor judgment. 21. A master of passive aggression mailed a huge box filled to the brim with packing peanuts. A tiny note inside read, "The gift is in here somewhere. Good luck." After the recipient spent an hour digging, they found a second note. "Just kidding." This wasn't just mail. This was a meticulously planned act of psychological warfare. 22. Workers were rightfully concerned when a package began shaking violently on its own. After a cautious approach, they discovered the box was filled with thousands of Mexican jumping beans. The post office rejected it, establishing a clear policy. Your mail should not have its own nervous system, real or imagined. 23. To save a few bucks on moving, a man tried to ship a life-sized wax statue of himself. When an employee glanced inside the crate and saw a pale, motionless human figure, it nearly turned the mailroom into a crime scene. The package was rejected, as the Postal Service has a strict no shipping your own wax corpse policy. 24. In a bizarre attempt at long-distance gardening, someone mailed a box filled with soil and a single, unpotted cactus. During transit, the cactus came loose and turned the package into a spiky death trap. It was rejected after a mail handler learned the hard way that some packages fight back. 25. In an act of ultimate minimalism, a person stuck a shipping label directly onto a loaf of bread and sent it on its way. The post office refused it, having to explain the fundamental concept that packaging needs to be, an actual package. Bread, no matter how crusty, does not qualify. 26. A full suit of medieval armor arrived for shipping with nothing but an address label on the chest plate. The post office rejected it, not just because of the logistical chaos, but because they couldn't be sure it wasn't an incredibly slow attempt to storm the building. They deliver letters, not siege equipment. 27. Someone thought it would be a hilarious prank to mail a fog machine set to a timer. It switched on mid-transit, filling the sorting facility with a dense, mysterious mist and causing a full-blown evacuation. The package was rejected, and the sender learned that causing a mass panic is generally frowned upon. 28. In a misguided attempt to protect their item, someone labeled a box, "Extremely unstable, do not shake." This, naturally, caused a significant amount of alarm. After careful inspection, the contents were revealed to be a single snow globe. The sender genuinely thought the label would prevent damage rather than cause a security alert. 29. A mysterious box labeled "Do not open until 2099" arrived with no return address. Torn between following instructions and their own safety protocols, workers decided to open it. Inside was absolutely nothing. It was just a social experiment to see if curiosity was stronger than procedure. It was. 30. An ambitious individual tried to mail a pumpkin by simply slapping a shipping label on its rind. The journey, however, proved too rough for the gourd. It cracked and began oozing a slimy, seedy mess onto other packages, effectively pumpkin spicing everyone else's mail against their will. It was rejected. All right, confession time. You've seen the certified lunacy, now be honest with the internet. Down in the comments, tell us the single most questionable thing you've ever tried to ship. We know you have a story. Don't be shy, you're among friends here. Probably. If this madness was your kind of entertainment, you know what to do with the like and subscribe buttons.